is not enough to cultivate intelligence. All those scholars in the academia are prime examples.
Lady Farina hasn't changed one bit.
The scribe's work is simple, which is exactly why I took the position.
Lady Farina hasn't changed one bit.
Wait. Huh? No. Whatever.
Lady Farina hasn't changed one bit.
Merhabalar, hoş geldiniz. Buradaki sivi çekiyorum. Bugün Fontaine Hikayesi'ne devam ediyoruz.
Lady Farina hasn't...
Panel hangi panel? Ha, şuymuş. Okay.
What's this?
Kanca.
Looks like a hook tied to the end of a rope. Huh? There's all kinds of odd...
Perhaps it was a prop for a different trick. But why would it have been left here?
Whatever it is, let's make it...
Hı, okay. Buymuş. Şurada var mı? Yok herhalde. Burada yok. Boza var. Giysi var. Okay.
The floor is wet. Please be careful not to slip.
Speaking of which, why would there be water here?
Fontaine'desin. Nedir etrafta? Su var. Wow.
Paimon knows! It's one of those tricks where you pour water into a jug and then flip the jug over only for the... And here's a broken vase! Huh. Did the trolley knock it down while moving?
That can't be. The trolley moves.
Let's...
Daha sonra hepsi birikecek. En son ben düşüneceğim. Görün.
Oh, these are the clothes that the lady chosen from the audience was wearing, right? Her clothes are here, but she's nowhere to be found.
Right. And do you really need to do that if you're kidnapping them?
Yok.
Ugh, this is so confusing. Paimon doesn't want to be a
Belli.
detective anymore.
Hemen pes ettim. Belliydi. Ha dur. Hı. Geri gitmişim. Burada yok. Burada. Var mı? Yok, oturuyormuşsun. Hmm. Yeah.
What is this place?
It seems someone could fit through here.
Eyvah.
Could this have been the suspect?
Alone, perhaps. But if
But there are no other ways in or out of here. Oh,
Evet.
you're right. Let Paimon write that down. Seems we're just about done investigating down here.
Gitmiş, okey.
Yes. Let's head back up.
Bunları yaptık, okey, hadi. Hadi gidelim. Buraya dön.
Well, we've ascertained the state of the crime scene. Let's find a place to sort out our findings once Malus returns. Seems to me that there are several things that don't add up here.
apologies for the wait, demoiselle.
So, what did the guards say? Did the criminal escape?
They believe the odds of that are very low, since the guards
Yani
have
bir baksınız mı
checked
gene de
everything
acaba?
carefully. No one left through the basement during the performance or after the incident, and no one was found.
So the tunnels become like a secret chamber then.
The plot thickens. Halsey's disappearance and Cowell's death. No wonder Farina was so confident in her accusation. All the current evidence points toward Linny.
In other words, the
Sizin bir yere
charges
güçlüğünüz
are very
attılar
likely
ya.
to be upheld unless we make some considerable.
Charges and then trial.
So if that's right, this is how a trial goes in the Opera House. During the proceedings, the Chief Justice and the That's right. This is how indemnitium is produced. The statements from both sides, the defenses from attorneys, witness testimony. To put it simply, it's as if the oratrice has its own will and is a
This also
Çok üzücü.
includes any kind of favoritism on the part of the Chief Justice. Not that this has ever happened.
Once both sides have finished speaking, the Chief Justice will make his final decision. This, too, will be used by the oratrice. Then, finally, the oratrice will be consulted by officials.
Huh? So that machine is the one that actually decides?
In practice, there is very little difference. Both have always come to the same yes, the
Yani o zaman ne gerek var? Niye
to convey that
çıkardınız adamı oraya?
will be allowed to leave this place before the trial. Because we've chosen to act as the twins' proxies. That makes us
They're concerned that we might be colluding with outside parties. Or that we might, and even if that were not so, it could prove problematic.
I'm ready to break out at any time.
Whoa, there's no need for that. Paimon thinks they have a point.
Of course. I just
Yemek
hope you
yoksa
don't mind
hem onu yeriz, sorun değil.
lack of options. I'm afraid that catering to all tastes.
In that case, let's just sort out our findings together here. Pity. I mean, what better way to properly think through our findings than a...
Breaking out
Tam
suddenly doesn't seem
Fransızımızın
like such a bad idea
hiç
after all.
hakkınızı.
Just kidding, just kidding. Paimon will...
What do you mean, no snacks? Of course we'll...
Huh? Here?
Understood, demoiselle. Everyone, please come with me.
Wait, you're carrying a portable stove with you?
Yes, I must be prepared to meet the demoiselle's baking needs whenever the fancy strikes her.
I have eggs, sugar, and almonds at the ready.
Good work, you two. Then I'll get to it.
These three are quite the interesting group. And Paimon thought it smelled good while it was still in the oven. Oh, from the way you had these two guys carrying all that stuff around, Paimon thought you'd have them do more during the baking, but you ended up doing the entire thing by yourself. Beating the egg white.
Yani tek şey yapmayınca işte.
And I was giving encouraging smiles.
Paimon was just thinking. Aren't you worried about getting your fancy dress
Well, I don't think it's carved in stone anywhere that fancy ladies can only read books, sip... Don't underestimate beating egg weights, by the way. It's a real arm workout. You also need to beat them to just the right consistency. Anyway, give these a try. Fresh out of the...
Only 3?
Well, eating too many sweet treats might send all that...
Tea is ready to be served as well. This is Demoiselle's favorite, strong black tea. No need for concern. I'm merely doing as I...
All right then. Down to business. However, we can assume that Linny and Lynette were not alone with... The magician twins could have committed the crimes, of course, but they lack any logical
Exactly! Why would they do such a thing right when everyone was watching?
Yani tek birisi
Based on
kaldı.
the thud we heard during the performance could indicate some altercation between Halsey and the criminal in the tunnel, resulting in the shattering of the vase, the discarding of her clothes, and her abduction. Perhaps the criminal thought that since she was chosen from the crowd, she would be too easy to identify if she was...
Paimon thinks that makes sense, but
True. None of the clues we found thus far, but the only people left to consider are both technically victims.
Could Halsey have secretly made modifications to the magic props in order...
That's right. And even if she had tampered with the setup, nor does she have any motive. The guard said that she has never had any dealings with the magic troop's members.
Were we not thorough enough in our search? From the sound of things, this is turning into an impossible case.
Hemen çıkmaz sokak, hemen bırak zaten. Her zaman Paimon.
Great! They're nice and crisp.
They are my specialty after all.
What? 5? Oh, that can't be right. Paimon only counted 3.
Please don't worry about it. At my age, a few less sweets...
Ah be.
No. Being greedy is one thing, but besides, Paimon knows that if she ate too many, then others wouldn't have enough.
Hani attı gidin yani.
Even you don't believe Paimon? If Paimon ate those 2 extra macarons, then maybe
Çevirecek ya.
All right, we get it. Well, I suppose one of us... Malus, set up the stove again, if you would.
Huh? What are you doing?
Making
Stok.
sure everyone gets 3 macarons, of course.
Hiç gerek yoktu hiç.
I don't want to trouble you.
As you wish, Demoiselle.
And I have the egg, sugar, and almond.
Well, this really is your hobby.
Well, that's it for snack time. I don't know what we're looking for yet, but it would be awkward if you got all...
All right, thanks for your help. And for...
It was nothing. A small task for the Spina di Rosula. Silver, Malus, it's time to go. I'll be back if I find anything new.
Yes.
It's time to put our heads together. We've got to get our
Duruşmayı mı
defense ready
bekle?
for the trial.
Oo. Saate bakmadım. 8'miş. Tam saatin dolu. Çünkü duruşmaya çıkacağız. Okay. Hemen bunu da alayım. Eyvah.
What do we do? The whole situation is so confusing.
Yani yavaş yavaş ilerledim.
Impossible things don't just happen.
Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects... Besides, I doubt Farina understands any more about what happened than we do.
Hiç anlamadım beni. Hiç umurumda bile değildi.
Well, we'll be going.
Best of luck to you.
Hı. Hayır o değilmiş. Buradan yukarı çıktı sandım gene.
Back. Well, how did your investigation go?
Gitmedi. Giriyorsunuz içeriye.
To be honest, you might be disappointed.
No. We're already very grateful that you were willing to help.
Well now, don't you all look disappointed? Don't tell me that your investigation came up empty-handed.
Yani kendisi çok dolu geldi de.
That was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce proof of their innocence, but don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you.
Aynen.
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic show
Oh.
incident is now in session. Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, could we please have Mr. Linney explain the trick?
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on stage. All the necessary items have been prepared.
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that case, I take your state. You ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began, and thus could not have.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady Farina, do you wish to refute?
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this
Çok
case
gıcıksın
wide
ya.
open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying.
Kanatla.
There's
Kanatla.
no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cow.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask,
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipate.
and you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that might
Senin
lead
yaptığın
any
bir ses
kind of
mesela.
any-
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe
Huh?
Hey, hang on.
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box, and I definitely heard the thud.
Look at those
Aa,
scales.
çok değişik bir sistem ya.
Could those mean...
Evet.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician himself. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my foundations are rock solid. Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
The House of the Hearth?
Aa, cidden mi? Kaç yaşında mısınız siz? Eyvah.
Did something like this.
Benim hemen kanmamdaki olaya.
So the serial disappearances were the Fatsui's doing. Now it all makes sense.
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just an accident.
Abi ya, hayır ya.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Sizin Fatih'le bağlı ne acaba ya?
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that 1 minute. Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept. The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting and discourse.
Nasıl bir tanrı ya?
Good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off.
Hey, Linny, why didn't you tell us this before?
Sinirliyim ama gerçi.
Order! Order! Mr. Linney, allow me to re-establish the facts. Lady Farina has raised 2 points. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and are these claims true?
Galiba. Ne kurban?
Please answer my question, Mr. Linney.
I'm sorry.
Aa, hayır.
Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
That's it. We might as well move on to the sentencing already.
Ama bir dur be.
What should we do now?
Granted.
Şimdi buraya çok dikkat karar vermeli miyim? Yoksa da yani yetkisi yok mu? Evet.
In that case, what is your request?
Is
Evet.
that really necessary? They're already as
The defendant has
Siz
seized
karışmayın,
their
bu su.
attorneys. What is there left to
Order! Order, I say! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn.
Oh be.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense even in that case, my dear audience. Let's allow the joy of victory.
Well,
Dökülün bakalım.
this is awkward. I didn't think the Hydro Archon would dig all that up. I'm sorry, Traveler and Paimon.
Yeah, sorry.
Paimon doesn't know where to start. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption that you weren't bad guys. Not to set the wrong tone or anything, but Paimon's really mad.
I'm very sorry. I know you're I know you've clashed with the Vatui several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just
Evet,
our
maalesef sinirlendiriyor.
organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers have very different personalities and goals.
Right now, we want to save people. As many as we can.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and the disaster that I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, we could become good friends. That's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you, but chose to hide some details instead. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us spending more effort than we need to.
Yani yalan dolayı bunlar.
So, you be the judge. Heck, if I were you, I fear that I'd even struggle. You met
İşte.
a Vatus who works as a magician, a trickster by trade. All by coincidence, too.
Hı?
But still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no criminal. At least,
Sorry. Please forgive us.
Well, you both say that, but...
Evet, bir yanlış koyalım o zaman.
Your answer first, and no...
of course, I'll answer any question you ask. We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has consciousness. Why can it deliver? During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it.
Aa,
From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick with the objective of getting close to the core.
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
Bayağı bunlar planlılar ya.
well, nothing. As soon as I reached that room and was about to investigate, I heard someone's voice. Which should have been impossible, of course. I was quite certain that I was the
Abi,
only one in the room.
kesin bu bir önceki stop arkomu şeyde ya. Çekirdekli bağı var
He
yani.
seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side of caution. On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground. But the countdown was almost... After that, the homicide occurred just as...
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that prophesized crisis.
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole truth. I swear, I didn't hide anything from you this time.
Ben yine
It was never my wish to pursue
İnanmadım
this
yani.
cloud of mistrust either. But like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave because...
Well, Trevor,
Yok, gitmeyelim ya.
Paimon will follow your lead
Güvenmiyorum
however
ama
you
gitmek
choose.
istemiyorum.
Okay,
Evet.
thank you.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty badly. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations, we're gonna need a seriously watertight defense, huh?
Neymiş?
Oh,
Ben unuttum ya,
you
hatırlamıyorum.
mean?
Okay. Hadi bakalım. Devam ediyor dava.
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial. When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction of the events.
That took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention. At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective.
Sen ne yapmaya uğraşıyorsun? Hiç anlamıyorum seni ya. Ah! Başka anlamı hikaye onun kısmını bulabilirsin. Onlar harcımız elde hakkında üstüne kullanamaz. Onlar diziden düştü yani yeni çıkın. Bunları yap. Aa, ben bunu beceremeyeceğim. Onun isteğini kazan, bunu aşı gösterir. Doğru olmayan bir şeyler çürüdüğünde çürümüyorsun, tamam, geç atınca. Görebilirsin. Ama ben hiç bunu nasıl yapacağım?
When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud. He did not realize that this sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house, which is why he claimed earlier that finally he used the vase
Abi çok iyi şey yapıyor ya.
before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her.
Aa!
At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise. So Linney proceeded to knock him out too before stuffing him into that box. Afterward, Linney passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before operating the devices such that
Nasıl çözeceğim bilmiyorum.
That's the truth.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady
Var.
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events. What Linney experienced.
Bu diyelim. Şimdi tünelle kilidi dedik. Adam alan bahçenin dibinde aradığı adam güzel bir ses duyuyor. Hangisini düşündüğüm hiç fikrim yok. Şunu desem.
Seems this won't produce.
Çok zor bunlar. Giriş çıkış desek. O da değilmiş. Tamam. Ses diyelim. O da değilmiş. Kıyafet diyelim. Olmaz sensin. Bu da değilmiş. Ha, o zaman şey yapacağız. Ben hepsinde bir tane veririz zannettim. Hepsine değilmiş. Kendi şeyimize göre verecekmişiz ama o değilmiş, öyle değilmiş yani. O zaman bu ne? Çok rastgele yapıyorum ya. Beni çok zorlayacak. Şu desem.
According to Linney, he left via the vent after entering the tunnel.
Tamam. Çıkarttı. O zaman şu kıyafet diyeceğim. O zaman diyeyim şu kıyafet. Bir dakika. Linney'i bazı kullanarak masayı bayılttı ve kim olduğunu anlaması değil, kıyafetlerini çıkarttı. Ancak Linney o sırada gerçekten tünelde miydi?
Linny went to the room that contains the oracle.
Heh. Eli kabinenin tünellerde döndüğü zaman işlendiği. Tamam bu.
Linny did not take part in the underground
Heh,
altercation.
aynen öyle.
Attention! This Detective Paimon has something
Ben
to
yapayım.
say.
Bunun kısmı mükemmel.
When the countdown started, Linny did indeed go into the tunnel.
Hmm.
But he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been the crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again. Finally, he reached the surface, and that was when the accident happened. from his
Tamam.
point of
Ah, yaptım. Çok zordu ama başardık.
Paimon did it! Paimon actually
In other words, you believe that he knew nothing of the incident?
That's right!
Evet.
My reasoning?
Aynen.
If that's
Aynen
the
öyle.
case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel,
Hı?
assuming that what you say is true, Linny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance.
Evet.
They have a point.
That's right, you tell him! And that's why they're. Oh, well, your denial is very strident, I'll give you that. But what proof do you have to back your claims? Of course I do. If he had been in the magic. You're saying that he wasn't?
Aa, hangisini seçeceğim? Ya ama birden açıyorsun oyun. Hangisi? Ya bilgisi yokmuş. Yoktur. Yazıyor zaten.
That's right!
Hı.
Linny wasn't in the box or in the. This means that when the crime happened, Linny,
Hı.
the same clue you used to disprove
Yürü
his
be Paimon.
alibi, has now become the best proof.
Çok o kadar keyifli ki.
Like that.
Well played. To think you'd use such logic.
Ne oldu?
Well then, if it wasn't Linny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
Aa. Abi ben mi seçeceğim? Ben yapamam. Her şeyi yapamam diyorum ama yapıyorum ya. Fişekler su tankın patlayan havai fişekler su tankın su tankın ve korkusu yapmış. Bu neden su tankın öldürmüş. Okey. Bir artık şüpheliysen kumpanyanın teknikleri depoya ulaşabiliyoruz ya. Ney bunun mesela yönetmenini anlattı. İzleyicinin gördük için daha havalı sizin izleyicinin içine kutlayabiliyorsun. Nasıl da izleyicinin tuttardaki tünelden tutuşunu niye bir tünel kullanarak diğer tünele geçiyor. Tünel değiştirmek anlamında asistan bir sanat etkileşimi istemiyor. Tekrardan hezliğe ait olabilen elbise bu yönetmenlerin nasıl bilinmiyor. Aa bir dakika. Tamam. Hı. Bu durumda bir
Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary
kılım
audience.
işlemiş yani hafta olduğuna göre.
Or did she have her own scheme all along? Could there have been a third person involved?
Yani bu daha mantıklı şu anda.
The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant.
Da kendini ne yapıyorsun ya?
Halsey is the missing person and an could there
Ben şu diyeceğim ya. Ah!
Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary audience.
Tamam bu yani.
The deceased's name is Cow.
Ne alaka? Ben anlamadım.
That can't be right. Are you serious? The killer was, in fact, Cow.
Oh, is that so? How in.
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator to victim.
Aa!
No one entered or left the Opera House through its entrances. The deceased's name is Cowell. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey
Duyduğum
and
ses
the
kayıp
criminal.
hızla ilgili suçlamışsınız da harbiden gelmiş olabilir. Evet. Sen de gel.
Lenny was not in the tunnel at that moment. It would
Tamam
have been
dur.
tough for both people to fit into that vent.
Şimdi abi, evet.
The sound we heard may have come from a
Böyle desek.
The deceased's name is Cowell.
Hadi onu
No one
seçmeyeceğiz.
entered or left the Opera House through it.
Evet ne istedi? Aa bu çok zor.
The deceased's name is Cowell.
Tamam.
Lenny was not
Sen
in the
gel.
tunnel at that moment.
Sen gel.
The deceased's name is Cowell.
Dur.
No one
Bunu seçtik.
entered or left the Opera House through its entrance.
Sen gel.
It would have been tough for both people to fit into.
Sen gel. Kaldım burada. Aa şey. Ha
Halsey's
bu dördü müymüş?
Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. The
Tamam.
sound we heard may have come.
Değişiyor mu ya? Tünelde bir
The
kargaşa
sound we
olduğunu.
heard may have come from a clash between.
Tamam.
Was not in the tunnel at that moment, which it would have been tough for both.
Sen gel.
It would have been tough for both. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel, so
Sen dur.
entered or left the Opera House.
Sen gel.
The deceased's name is Cowell. Lenny.
Sen gel.
Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel.
Sen gel. Aa şu adam doğruymuş ama diğerleri değilmiş. Ha bu ikisinden birini yapacağım.
Entered
Ha
or
tamam.
left the Opera House through its entrances. Lenny was not in the tunnel.
Sen gel o zaman.
The sound we heard may have come from a clash.
Sen gel. Sen
Halsey's
kaldın.
clothing was in the
Aa! Ulan sen kaldın.
entered or left the Opera. Lenny was not in the tunnel at that moment.
Abi çok zor bir şey anlamadım ama. Ama çok zor bir şey anlamadım ben. Evet. Evet.
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble figuring things out?
I see how it is. So
Look, since we're at a dead end, just like the trick as it transpired, the end result must have been utterly different from the.
If only we knew how Halsey disappeared.
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits. And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real live person disappear. You know, like you.
Hı? Evet olabilir bak.
excuse my interruption, dear opponents, but do you not see
Ay bir
that
sus be.
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Dur.
Lenny was not in the tunnel at that moment. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey.
Evet.
The deceased's name is Cowell. Linny's
Evet. Bu kayıp izi nereye gitti ya?
The vase was not broken by chance.
Heh. Bunu seçeceğiz bir de. Tamam. Sığır oldu.
Paimon gets it! It all comes together if Halsey
Huh?
Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving only clothes behind. If there's a similar method where a person...
Just a moment.
Kesin var. Sen böyle söylüyorsan kesin böyle bir yöntem var.
Transformed into water. This is reality we're talking.
Evet.
Must we really? I should think magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection. But Halsey's disappearance is very real.
Vay.
Even so, I trust the truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of reasoning may... Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to have a look at his belongings, would it?
Evet.
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their rope.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an
Yalnız şey,
I believe that
kamera açısı çok güzel.
evidence may help us make more progress. Guards, please step into the lounge and examine the...
We are still examining the items, but we have already made critical progress that we feel must be shared with everyone. We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's backpack.
Al işte.
The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are water from the primordial sea.
The primordial sea.
The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs.
Al işte. Notlar var.
Many entries concerning safe
Notlar da var.
usage of these fluids, in which the keyword dissolve appears not. One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's date. The notes also
Al
state that
işte.
these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine. It's likely that Halsey was chosen as some sort of test subject. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is, in fact...
You've got to be kidding! People dissolving into water?
Could something so
Korkutucu gene.
ridiculous actually be true?
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy, but it's just a coincidence.
If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water? Just a minute. Could that mean... You two,
Ne oldu?
Zell, wait! What about your partners?
let's go. Just trust me.
Order! Order!
Tamam ne bağırıyorsun ya?
It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased's personal effects has yielded some surprising results. Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the understanding. Guards, please continue examining the items along these... Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the...
Of course. Thank you, Your Honor. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case's seemingly unrelated clues can be connected together.
Right! Like the metal heart! That one didn't make... Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water from the...
Ah, gözüm yaşardı. Baş şüpheli bu.
Deceased's name is Cowell.
Suçlu çözümlerin zamanını kontrol etmek için hangi eşyayı kullandı?
Lynette was in the magic box on stage I remember there was something else within the
Ondan bu. Başta
water from the
bunu
primordial sea.
kullandı. Sonra adına için
Now it seems like the hook
bunu kullandı. Hayır! Hayır! Bunu kontrol etmek için o zaman
that held the water tank
bu
up
ipi
was lit by
kullandı o zaman. Sonra gizlemek için
the rope that held the water tank up was lit by the
mekanizma.
fireworks and snapped.
Bunu kullandı. Çözümünün
Now it seems
zamanlamasını
like the
kontrol
hook
etmek için de Bunu kullandı. Bu yanlışmış. Tamam.
Net was in the magic box. I remember there was something else within the inner layer of that box. Lynette was in the magic
O zaman
box.
bu Linet yani.
I
Sensin.
remember
Ay çok zor. Yapamıyorum. Mantıklı düşünemiyorum şu anda.
It's Ace Detective Paimon's time in the original plan. Cowl would tamper with the water tank rope. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial seed inside it. Afterward, Cowl would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel. With the remaining but he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel and wound up being fatally hit by the same water tank he meant to use.
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually links together a lot of the more confusing. Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now.
Evet.
It seems like the only point of contention remaining is the exact circumstances that led to Cal's death. His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related to the situation.
On that note, the guards have just contacted me indicating that
Abi ne o yindeliği
came on stage
geliyor
to share
sürekli.
with us.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting the luggage of the other people, and we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial sea among Linny's personal effects.
Allah Allah. Biri koydu, biri koydu, biri koydu, biri koydu, biri koydu, biri koydu, biri koydu yani.
I see. Well,
Sen yaptırdın. Kesin sen yaptırdın.
to have your own. Does this not clear all doubt, my dear citizens, my loyal audience? Allow me to present my reasoning and
Eyvah. Davayı kaybetmek istemiyorum.
to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Indeed, he did leave the scene via the vent. Having made modifications to the props beforehand, his accomplice Cowl then caused Halsey to vanish using the water from the primordial sea. But upon his return, in cruel avarice, Linny desired sole credit and prepared to do away. Ultimately, he knocked Cowl out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up also became. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously straight.
Ay.
Am I right, Mr. Linny?
we've used up all the evidence we collected. Is this the end of the road?
Hayır. Hayır gelmedik.
Oh no. Paimon can't think of anything either. Seems using the water as new evidence was too good a move.
I think we've all seen enough now, and we have ample witness. I believe this is indeed the finale.
Değil. Değil.
Now then, my good, noble Chief Justice, should we not, in your view, excuse me, everyone, but I must interject.
Miss, I must ask you not to shout.
Bağırmasa
Don't be hasty.
duyulmasın aradaki mesafeye bak reis.
For interrupting, you know. Now, would anyone here like to take a little break from all this debate and see a little magic? I'll show you an amazing trick, one that can bring a young woman who has disappeared back in the flesh, right before your very eyes.
What in the world is she saying?
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are beyond my scope as a magician.
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? It often conceals the truth, but once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again? And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous finale to today's
Hadi ne olacak merak ettim.
Give it another go. Don't worry. Spina di Rasula has made the necessary arrangements on your behalf. But as the magic makers and stars of the show, I think I should leave the final
I understand.
And voila.
Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So the whole thing about people dissolving wasn't true after...
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of... I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one put on trial. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me. And then before I knew it, she caught...
That'll teach you to underestimate us three.
Where should I begin? I'm sorry.
Aa!
I'm the one who killed
Hayır.
Powell. I admit.
Hayır. Suç üstlendim bence.
What? Why? Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from Mondstadt. I heard that Linny's show was going to be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy it. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there, and I'd never been caught before.
Aa, sen şeydi. Çalmıştın en başta,
I was
hatırladım.
at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away.
Aa.
Hey, no wonder you look familiar. So you were the
Evet,
thief.
evet.
Liddy even mentioned that you were pretty skilled.
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector chose me. He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee. But then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel to nab me. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him into the box. There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box containing performance costume. I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house.
Can a person even hide in there?
But I swear, I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Really, had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a thief, but I'm no killer.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
This time, we need to tell the entire story.
Ah, yine başlıyoruz. Şimdi şunu diyelim. Şunu da herhalde üstüne almaya bakayım. Neymiş? Önce bu devre şeyi için şekilde seçilen için devlet bağımlılar sevgilerimiz bağımlı için içeri aklına yaşadığında lazım tepkilerdi. Ulan bu ses ne oldu? Hah. Su döküldü o zaman. Ha? Kavradan sonra Nezli ne yaptı? Ha. Vay bu. Bunu sever.
Only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water. Hearing the commotion, Cowell leapt into the... Did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine, but was a thief, mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time. The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lillian, with no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and hid in the costume trunk until the performance ended.
Hadi bakalım bitsin artık yani. Artık dava bitsin.
She knew that she would have to go through guard inspection, reaction if she tried to leave.
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So, she swiped two of them right
Evet.
under our noses.
Doğru.
At this point, all the events that happened in the tunnel have now...
So that's the whole story.
Bravo! Bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina, do you wish to speak against the defense's statements?
Artık sus bir zahmet yani.
Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecution...
Hemen kaç ah.
What? Are you reading my mind now? No. I have no further arguments.
Hı.
Wow.
Look at that!
Aynen öyle.
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, I shall once again repeat the full sequence of events.
Hı.
The actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, selected his next victim from the... With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected... To cover up any evidence while committing the deed, Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the... Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from Fontaine, and thus fled the box with a loud noise.
Fontaine'ler sadece
Cowell entered the tunnel and met
söylüyormuş.
Lillian, thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before hiding in other parts of the opera house. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the opera house. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude...
Aynen öyle.
While there is much in Linny and Lillian's conduct that should still... This case, at least, can be handed over to the oratories to make the final decision. As such, Linny and Lynette are officially declared...
Great work, partners.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Evet, hemen başlamayalım.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation, Guard Vaughn. How did you find the water from the primordial sea in Linny's...
Başkası koydu abi.
Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know. Or was that...
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, but you, yes? I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your...
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to Coupon Town.
I was just following orders. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups...
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a liability to said higher-ups, yes? Therefore, it would be wise to tell everything you know, and seek the protection of the guards.
Yes, I'll tell you everything I know. Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration. We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent more off it. The disappearances were also the boss's idea. I mean, this...
Patron kim?
And now he can no longer talk.
Such ruthlessness. I shouldn't have expected any less of them.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
Abi bitmiyor ki olay. Olayın sonunda olay gidip de olay bitmiyor.
So, we're just going back now?
Evet bize ihtiyaç var.
True, but...
Traveler, Paimon, please wait.
Lenny...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even want to look at me. But still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end. Even
It's
I
nice.
guess. But regardless, I like the opportunity. I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself.
Al işte ikinci kimliği var.
Entire time. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orphan like
Ha
me.
değil miymiş?
That's all. That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
The knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth? She's your father?
That's right. And since we're here, I was wondering,
Evet isterim hadi.
when our parents first died, Lynette and I were left wandering the streets. To survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer who did magic. I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner, and we began to perform magic tricks there. To my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular, and we could at least stop worrying about where our next meal would come from for a time. Before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed that he wished to take us in after watching my performance.
So you went from orphans to nobility just like that?
That was how we felt at first, too. As if fate was on our side and we could say goodbye to those painful days. But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent for magic tricks. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would then use to expand his social circles.
That doesn't seem too bad either. Better than roaming the streets at any rate.
It took a while for me to realize just how, after one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she didn't. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift. I mean, you'll be.
Oh no. So he... But wouldn't Fontaine's laws deal with such people?
As far as outsiders are concerned,